So one of the things that makes Dungeons & Dragons such a fun game is because it's a game where you can do and be whatever you want. You can make up things, you can have a lot of fun just, doing whatever it is you want to do. The game is so flexible. That's part of the appeal. It is limitless to what you can do in a D&D game. That said, there are still some things that you have to, as a player, as a game master, adhere by. There are the rules in the book. There are some unspoken rules and expectations as well. Breaking any of those can be very, very bad. These are the 7 deadly sins of D&D. Number 1 on the list is gatekeeping, and in my opinion, it's possibly the worst of all the 7. Gatekeeping is the activity of controlling and limiting general access to something, in this case, playing Dungeons & Dragons. It's not as much of an issue with the new generation of players, I've noticed. The reason it's so bad is because people who are gatekeeping have a very exclusive mindset. D&D is a game meant for everyone, and gatekeeping is straight up discriminatory, bottom line. The people doing the gatekeeping usually just want control. Again, I haven't experienced gatekeeping personally, but I've heard stories, and that's just what it comes down to. Now, this is different than excluding a specific toxic player from your table. That is not gatekeeping. That is maintaining the health of your table with your friends. So metagaming. This refers to players who do or say things outside the scope of their character, using information that they, as the player, know, but their character does not, and then making decisions in-game based on that information. As an example, a player might say, oh, this monster's armor class is 14, or the module we're playing says there's a white dragon ahead. So the most common violation of this usually has to do with monster statistics and generally information that really only the game master should know. There are different degrees, and the definition of metagaming can be a little bit nuanced, and certain game masters will allow a amount of metagaming in their games. It just depends on that person and what they want to do, what the players want to do. Metagaming is widely considered to be cheating, especially if there's just the one person in the group doing it, then it's a problem. Murder hoboing. It's pretty much what it sounds like. A party walks into a town and then resorts to violence to solve every single problem that they have. The shopkeeper isn't budging on the price of a magic item. Boom, unalived. Governor has a cool amulet that players want. Boom, unalived. A random civilian looks at the players the wrong way. Boom, in the ground, 6 feet under. Now, this playstyle may be what the players want to do, especially if we're playing chaotic evil characters, but it becomes a problem when it was not agreed upon. And again, if there's like that one player in it that just keeps murdering NPCs and being super violent that way, then it's problematic. Rules lawyering. The die-hard, rules-as-written player who doesn't like anything fun. No, I'm just kidding. This sin can really only be committed by players because the game master job is to know the rules and to enforce those rules. By definition, a game master cannot be guilty of rules lawyering because usually what the game master says goes. This player probably has a copy of the Dungeon Master's Guide with them at all times. They might interject with another player's decision when that player wants to do something that they technically cannot do. Rules as written is fun for some people, but anyone beyond the game master trying to enforce rules as written, especially when as a group they've decided not to stick 100% to the rules as written, is frankly just really annoying. Homebrewing is making up new stuff that is not in the canonized set of source books, whether it's monsters, items, character classes, and so on. It's super fun. Until it isn't. As a player or game master might homebrew a character class or a monster that is just super powerful, way overpowered, and just breaks the mechanical balance of the game. And that's not fun. As an example, every single monster has true sight with a range of 120 feet. So now all those invisibility potions that the players spent all their gold on are useless. Come on. Homebrewing is generally not malicious, and like I said, it can be really fun, and when it's done right, it is amazing and adds so much to the game. Unless you are the player who intends on breaking the game with your plus 15 Vorpal Greatsword of Desolation, or whatever. distracting. Now, this one can be hard to do, especially if you have ADHD like me. Players on their phones, looking at Facebook, texting other people, or even players playing a video game on their laptop in the middle of a session. I've seen it happen. The reason it's so bad is because you are not present at the table with the group, and so you're not contributing to the game in any positive way. And I get it, combat can be really boring and take a long time, especially if the wizard hasn't decided what spell they want to use, and maybe a couple of players kind of dominated the last role-playing session and you didn't get to say much and you sat there for 20 minutes just going like, come on, let's go. You can also be a distraction. So if you start a side conversation with another player about something, from life or whatever that has nothing to do with the game, that falls under this sin as well. It can be tempting. Table flunking. Honestly, I kind of needed something that also ended in ing, but this actually covers a few things. Mostly refers to players and game masters coming to the table unprepared. Whether the player forgot their character sheet or their dice or some of the materials, or maybe they forgot to level up between sessions and now we all have to wait for them to finish leveling up. If it's the game master, maybe they didn't really plan a dungeon all the way through. They don't have a plan at all. And they might think, well, as long as the players have monsters to fight and treasure to loot, they won't know the difference, right? Maybe. Just know that your players will know if you wing it too much. And here's the thing, game masters can only prepare so much, but the point is prepare what you can and then improvise. You also flunk at the table when, as a player, you dominate every session, whether that's the role-playing, the decision-making, or even combat. Just hogging a lot of the spotlight can really be a problem for other players and take away from their fun. Dungeons & Dragons is a cooperative game, so you really have to do everything you can to cooperate. Which of these sins have you been guilty of or seen committed? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. For more D&D and tabletop content, subscribe.